Service Canada just issued a quiet warning that thousands of Canadian seniors are about to lose part or all of their Guaranteed Income Supplement, their GIS, starting July 1st, and almost none of them know it's coming. Hello, friends. The title of this video is not clickbait. If you're a senior in Canada and you receive the Guaranteed Income Supplement, the GIS, that gets added on top of your old age security, stop what you're doing and stay with me. This July, thousands of seniors across this country are about to see that payment cut, reduced, or stopped entirely. And here's the part that matters most. Most of them won't see it coming. They'll open their bank statement one morning in July, look for the deposit they've counted on for years, and the money simply won't be there. This isn't a rumor. And it isn't fear-mongering. It's built right into how the system actually works, the same way it works every single year. The difference between the seniors who keep their full payment and the ones who lose it isn't luck. It's knowing why this happens and taking one or two simple steps before July arrives. So before you do anything else today, give me the next half hour. I'm going to show you exactly why this happens, exactly who is at risk, and exactly what to do. The forms, the phone numbers, the words to say. Because what I'm about to walk you through could be the difference between keeping hundreds of dollars a month and losing it. Let me be straight with you about the stakes, because I don't think most people realize how much money we're actually talking about. The Guaranteed Income Supplement is not pocket change. For a single senior, the GIS can be worth over $1,100 a month, right around $1,105 at the maximum right now. For a couple where both partners receive old age security, each can receive up to roughly $660 a month in GIS on top of their OAS. Add it up across a year, and you're looking at $12,000 to $15,000, even $18,000. For a lot of you watching right now, that's not a luxury. That's the difference between covering your rent and your groceries and falling behind. And here's the thing nobody explains clearly. The GIS is not permanent. It is not guaranteed the way the name makes it sound. It is recalculated every single year, and that recalculation happens in July. Every July, Service Canada looks at your situation fresh and decides three things: whether you still qualify, how much you get, and in some cases, whether you get anything at all. If something has gone wrong, if a form wasn't filed, if your income from last year looks different than your income looks today, if a life change wasn't reported, July is the month the payment changes. And sometimes it doesn't just shrink, it disappears. Now, before we go further, if you're over 60 or you have a parent, a spouse, or a friend who's on OAS and GIS, this is exactly the kind of channel you want to be subscribed to. These rules change. The income thresholds change every year. The deadlines change. And Service Canada does not phone you to walk you through it. The people who are subscribed here find out in time, before July hits, while they can still act. The ones who aren't subscribed tend to find out after, when the money's already gone and they're sitting at the kitchen table trying to figure out what happened. So do yourself a favor. Hit subscribe, tap the notification bell, and you'll get these updates while they can still help you. All right, let's get into what's happening this July, why it happens, who's at risk, and what you do about it. Here's the thing, most people never find out about the GIS until it's too late. The system is designed to work against you passively. It doesn't fail you with a phone call. It doesn't fail you with a warning letter that says, "Heads up, your payment is about to change." It fails you with silence. Service Canada processes your renewal quietly in the background. And you find out the result only when the money shows up in your account, or doesn't. So let me explain how it actually works, in plain language. The GIS is what's called income tested. That means the amount you get depends on how much income you have. Every year, the government looks at your income from the previous year to decide how much GIS you get for the coming year. The GIS benefit year runs from July to June, so the payments you start receiving in July are calculated from the income you reported on last year's tax return. Now follow me closely here, because this is the core of the entire problem. There are two main ways this goes wrong, and both of them land in July. The first way, you didn't file your taxes on time, or you didn't file at all. A lot of seniors think, my income is low, I don't owe anything, so why bother filing? Here's exactly why it matters. The Canada Revenue Agency and Service Canada use your tax return to renew your GIS automatically. No tax return means no income information on file. No income information means they cannot confirm that you still qualify. And when they can't confirm it, they don't just guess and keep paying you. They stop the payment, not reduce it. Stop it, starting in July. And it stays stopped until you file. The second way is about your income itself. Remember, the GIS uses last year's income to set this year's payment. So if you earned more last year than usual, maybe you cashed out part of an RRSP, maybe you sold a property or a vehicle, maybe you took on a little part-time work, that higher income from last year reduces or even eliminates your GIS this year. And here's the cruel part. It does that even if your income has already dropped back down to normal. The system is looking backward, not at where you are today. Most people assume the GIS is simply always there once they've been approved. That is not true. It is recalculated every July, and it can shrink or vanish based on a tax return you filed months ago or a form you never knew you were supposed to send in. None of this comes looking for you. You have to stay ahead of it, and by the end of this video, you will know exactly how. Let me give you a made-up example so you can picture how this plays out in real life. Let's call her Margaret. Margaret is 72. She lives alone, and her income is low, so she's been receiving close to the full GIS. Call it around $1,100 a month on top of her OAS. That GIS is a huge part of how she pays her bills. Last year, Margaret needed a new roof. To cover it, she took $10,000 out of her RRIF, completely reasonable. It was her money, and she needed it. But here's what Margaret didn't realize. To the GIS calculation, that $10,000 counts as income for last year. So when July comes and Service Canada recalculates her GIS using last year's income, her supplement gets cut by roughly $5,000 over the year, around $415 a month. Margaret didn't change anything about her day-to-day life. Her roof is already paid for, but her monthly check just dropped by over $400 and nobody called to warn her. Now, and this is the important part, Margaret is not stuck. There is a specific form that can fix exactly her situation because her income this year is back to normal. Most people in Margaret's shoes never find out about it. By the end of this video, you'll know it by name. Keep that in mind as we go through the groups, because one of them is probably you. Let me break this down into specific groups, because not everyone watching is in the same boat. I want you to find yourself in one of these four. Listen for the one that matches your situation, because the action you take depends on which group you're in. Group 1. Seniors who haven't filed their taxes yet. If you have not filed your 2024 tax return, your GIS for the July benefit year is in immediate danger. This is the single most common reason GIS payments get cut off. Full stop. Service Canada renews your GIS automatically only if your tax information is on file with the CRA. No return, no renewal. The payment stops in July and stays stopped until you file. Here's the dollar reality. A single senior on the maximum GIS is getting roughly $1,105 a month. Miss 1 month because your taxes weren't filed. That's over $1,100 gone for one missing form. If you are behind on multiple years, every one of those years matters. The action is simple and it's urgent. If you have not filed your 2024 taxes, do it immediately, today, if you possibly can. Group 2. Seniors whose income went up last year, even temporarily. This is the group that gets blindsided because they did nothing wrong. They just used their own money. The GIS clause back about 50 cents for every dollar of income above the base. Let me put real numbers on that. A $10,000 RRSP or RRIF withdrawal counts as income and can cut your GIS by roughly $5,000 over the year, about $415 a month, and it scales up fast. A $20,000 withdrawal can reduce your GIS by around $800 a month, which on a fixed income nearly wipes it out entirely for the whole benefit year. That's the trap. The money's already spent, but the GIS penalty lingers for 12 months. If this is you, do not panic. There is a form for exactly this situation, and I'll show you. Group 3. Seniors whose spouse passed away or whose marital status changed. The GIS amount depends heavily on whether you're single or part of a couple, and the income thresholds for each are completely different. If your spouse passed away last year, or you separated or divorced, your situation has changed. But Service Canada keeps calculating on the old information until you update them. When the July recalculation finally catches up, it can swing hard in either direction. Some people suddenly get cut, others discover they were actually owed more the entire time. Either way, you need your status on file correctly, and you need it done before July locks in. And one specific note for this group: if you are between 60 and 64 and your spouse has passed away, there is a separate benefit called the allowance for the survivor, worth up to roughly $1,680 a month for low-income survivors. Almost nobody knows it exists. If that's you, it's worth a phone call on its own. Group 4. Seniors with gaps in Canadian residency. GIS eligibility is tied to your old age security, and OAS depends on how many years you've lived in Canada after the age of 18. If your residency record has a gap, or you've recently sponsored a family member or been sponsored yourself, your GIS can be affected during these annual reviews. This group needs to confirm that their residency information is accurate, because an error here doesn't just cost you 1 month. It can quietly reduce your payment for years before anyone notices. So those are the 4 groups most exposed this July: the non-filers, the income spike, the status change, and the residency gap. Find yours. Hold on to it, because in a few minutes I'm going to tell you the exact step for each one. Now here's where I need to be very direct with you, because this is the part people genuinely regret. When the GIS gets cut off in July and you don't act, it does not quietly fix itself over time. Service Canada does not go back through your file looking for a reason to restart your money. The payment stays at zero or stays reduced month after month until you do something about it. And every single month that passes is money you may never get back. There is some good news inside that bad news, and I'll always be honest with you about both sides. If your GIS was stopped only because you didn't file your taxes and then you file, the payments can be reinstated and in many cases backpaid. So it's not hopeless. But here's the trap you must understand. Retroactive payments are limited. Generally, you can only recover GIS going back about 11 months. 11 months. So if you ignore the problem for a year, 2 years, 3 years, thinking you'll deal with it eventually, the money beyond that 11-month window is gone permanently. It does not come back, no matter how good your reason was, no matter how unfair it feels. And here's the silent error that costs people the most, because it makes no noise at all: the income-based clawback. If your GIS got slashed because of last year's RRSP withdrawal and you simply accept the lower payment and do nothing, that reduced check sits there for the entire benefit year, hundreds of dollars a month draining out of your budget, when there is a single form that could have fixed it in one afternoon. Most people never apply for it for one simple reason. They don't know it exists. That error just sits there silently, month after month, and Service Canada will never call to tell you that you could have stopped it. Let me say this as plainly as I can. Service Canada does not warn you before July. They process the recalculation. The smaller payment shows up, and the entire burden to know your rights, to ask the right question, to send the right form, falls on you. The system is quietly built so that the senior who stays silent and doesn't ask is the one who loses the money. I made this video so that won't be you. Okay, here is exactly what to do, step by step. Get a pen or save this video so you can come back to it. Step 1. File your 2024 taxes immediately, no matter how low your income is. This is the foundation, and nothing else works until it's done. Even if your income is zero, even if you don't owe a single dollar, you must file to keep your GIS renewing automatically. If you're behind several years, file all of them. And if you need help, which a lot of people do, the Community Volunteer Income Tax Program, the CVITP, prepares taxes for free for low-income seniors. You can find a free clinic through the CRA website under Free Tax Clinics, or call the CRA directly at 1-800-959-8281. Write that number down, 1-800-959-8281. Ask them where your nearest free clinic is. Do this step first. Everything else depends on it. Step 2. If your income dropped this year, ask for a GIS recalculation based on your current income. This is the one almost nobody knows about. This is Margaret's fix. If last year's income was higher because of an RRSP withdrawal, a property sale, or a job you have now retired from, and your income this year is lower, you do not have to live with the reduced payment for 12 months. You can request that your GIS be recalculated using your estimated current year income instead of last year's. The form is called the Statement of Estimated Income. Form ISP-3041. Let me say that again slowly. ISP 3041. ISP-3041. You fill in what you actually expect to earn this year. You send it to Service Canada, and they can raise your GIS to match your real current situation. This single form can restore hundreds of dollars a month. Most people go years without ever knowing it was an option. Step 3. Update your marital status if anything has changed. If your spouse passed away, or you married, separated, or divorced, you need to report it to Service Canada. You can do this when you renew using the GIS income statement. That's Form ISP-3026, the Statement of Income for the GIS, which includes a marital status section. Or you can simply call them and tell them directly. Your GIS amount depends heavily on this, so get it corrected before July's recalculation locks in. Step 4. Call Service Canada and confirm your GIS status before July, if you're unsure. The number is 1-800-2779-914. Write it down, 1-800-2779-914. When you call, have your social insurance number ready and ask 3 specific questions. Question 1. Is my GIS renewing for the July benefit year? Question 2. Do you have my 2024 tax information on file? Question 3. Is my income and marital status current on my account? Those 3 questions will tell you in about 5 minutes whether you're at risk. Do not wait for a letter that may never come. Call and ask. A practical note on timing. These changes are not always instant. Once you file your taxes or submit a form, it can take Service Canada several weeks to process and adjust your payment. Any back pay you're owed usually follows after that. That's exactly why acting early, before July, not after, matters so much. The sooner you start, the sooner the correct money is back in your account. And one more thing for steps 2 and 3. You can also handle a lot of this through your My Service Canada account online at canada.ca. But if you're not comfortable doing things on a computer, please don't let that stop you. The phone number works just as well, and there's no penalty for doing it by phone instead of online. Before we recap, let me answer the questions people ask me most about this, because one of them is probably on your mind right now. What if I'm already getting 0 GIS? Does this even apply to me? It might apply more than you think. If your GIS was reduced or eliminated because of a one-time income bump last year, and your income this year is lower, you may qualify again right now. File your taxes, then submit the ISP-3041 with your current income. People are sometimes shocked to find they're eligible again. Does my spouse also have to file taxes? Yes. For couples, the GIS is based on your combined household income. So both partners' returns matter. If one of you hasn't filed, it can hold up the renewal for both of you. File both. How long until my payment is fixed after I act? As I said, plan on several weeks once your return or form is processed, sometimes a bit longer during busy periods. It is not usually same day. That's why early action beats waiting. Do any of these forms cost money? No. The forms are free, and the CVITP tax help is free. Anyone asking you to pay a fee to unlock your GIS is running a scam. Hang up. I'm withdrawing from my RRSP this year, not last year. Am I safe for this July? Yes, but that withdrawal will count toward next year's calculation. So if your income drops again afterward, remember the ISP-3041 exists for next July too. Plan ahead. Let's bring it all together. Here is the full picture and the one action each piece requires. 1. The GIS is recalculated every July based on last year's income and your tax return. It is not permanent. It can be cut or stopped, so you have to stay ahead of it. 2. If you haven't filed your 2024 taxes, your GIS can stop entirely in July. The action: file immediately. Even if your income is 0, use a free CVITP clinic if you need help. CRA number 18009598281. 3. If last year's income was higher than it is now, your GIS gets reduced, and a large RRSP or RRIF withdrawal can nearly wipe it out for the year. The action: file the Statement of Estimated Income, Form ISP-3041, to have it recalculated on your real current income. 4. If your marital status changed, report it. Form ISP-3026, or by phone, so your GIS is calculated correctly. And if you're a survivor age 60 to 64, ask about the allowance for the survivor. 5. If you're not sure where you stand, call Service Canada at 1-800-277-9914 and ask the 3 questions. Is my GIS renewing? Do you have my tax info? Is my income and status current? 6. Remember the deadline that really matters. Retroactive GIS generally only goes back about 11 months. Waiting costs you real money you cannot recover. Here's the bottom line, friends. None of these fixes come looking for you. Service Canada will not call you, will not warn you, and will not volunteer the forms that put money back in your pocket. The only thing standing between you and your full GIS this July is knowing this exists and taking one step. You now know. So take the step. A quick note: this is general information to help you protect your own benefits, not financial or legal advice. Amounts, thresholds, and forms can change. Always confirm your own situation and the current forms directly with Service Canada at canada.ca or with the CRA before acting. If this video helped you, please subscribe and turn on the bell. These rules change every single year, and I'll keep you ahead of them in plain English before the deadlines hit. And please do one thing for me before you go. Pick up your phone and send this to someone specific. Your mother, your father, a neighbor down the street, anyone you know who's on OAS and GIS. Don't just share it to your feed. Send it to them directly with a note that says, "Watch this." They may have no idea their July payment is at risk, and these few minutes could save them thousands of dollars.